Hello survivors and welcome to another video. Today is the day that we get to claim Maggie. It has been 23 days of just pining basically because I really like 6-star Maggie a lot. And if we see, we get the last death doubloon. I did save all my doubloons except the very first one because I showed you me pulling it. I think it might have been a bad idea because this is going to take a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull and I'm going to speed it up on the screen for you guys. So we'll be right back very soon. So here we go. Here we go. This is it. This is the claim. We get the 250 weapon tokens and of course we get Maggie as well. There she is. Doesn't the animation look great as well? The animation looks cool. I like that quite a lot. Okay, so look at Maggie, obviously. I know a lot of people obviously are going to get their hands on her. This isn't, I guess, a non-optional reward as long as you've logged in every day and you actually claim your tokens. So you don't have a choice on getting something else. So everyone's going to get this character. The choice you're going to have to make is whether you keep her at a 5-star or if you ascend her to a 6-star. Now, I'm obviously going to get this character in both my regions. And I'm most likely going to keep her as a 5-star in my second region just because I have a range team. And in this region is my melee team. I'm most likely going to keep her as make her a 6-star. Now, as a 5-star, we'll look at her first. We'll just have a look at basically everything she has. She doesn't have a leader skill or active skill, but her adrenaline rush is a revive. And she revives one teammate with 45% of their HP and up to 3 teammates regain 45% of their max HP for 2 turns. It's actually a pretty nice rush. It is a bit slow, but you're not going to have this character on a defense team, and pretty much adrenaline rushes only really matter on defense teams. Now, in terms of speed, you know, if an adrenaline rush is 76 or below, you can get a second turn rush on attack on command, so it isn't too bad. And she is command as well, so I mean that is I think that's quite a big bonus, especially in new regions. If the new region started up in, you know, in January or early February, and you're going to get your hands on this character, this is a pretty nice character to get as your first 5-star / potential 6-star in the future. I think it's going to be very useful, especially for world map progression as a new player. If you're a veteran like myself who's completed everything basically, and you're getting this in your end game, I don't think it's going to be as useful as a 5-star, but it can be pretty nice in terms of if you're going to be running SR tournaments to have a revive that's fast and a command. I guess it's a nice combo. It can work with the right, just against like maybe Tyrese teams can work quite well, even though they have neutralized, but she can command someone a turn early so they actually rush and don't get neutralized against those Tyrese characters, so that's not too bad. Now we move on to the 6-star, which I guess is going to be what majority, well actually I don't know. I guess it's going to be what the majority of the usage is going to be from this character. I think maybe the majority of people may keep her as a 5-star initially at least. However, I don't think they're going to use her as much as people who do ascend her to 6-star. I think most people who ascend her to a 6-star will probably use her quite a lot. And she's a pretty decent character for raids in terms of defense teams and attack teams. I used Cal, who was a taunt character on attack for quite a long time, near the end of the 5-star era, and even into the early 6-star era. It's just when 6-star started getting into tier 3 and tier 4, and obviously their stat buff, you don't really want to taunt characters, 2 characters particularly, to smash you, as a character like Cal. Even if he wasn't getting trait damage, he would get destroyed. However, with Maggie, it's going to be slightly different because she's got Indomitable. Like, the first hit, she's going to get a bonus to defense, so she's going to take less damage on the next hit, and that's really nice. Now, we'll take a look at her rush as well. She deals 275% damage, minus 40% attack, so already they're going to have less attack, whoever she taunts, because she also taunts these 2 characters for 2 turns. And it's a 2-turn taunt is really strong, particularly on defense, because I think calculating it, as long as you've got a large, I think it's a huge AP on attack, you're going to get these 2 characters locked. You're going to actually lock these 2 characters. So she can 1-on-2 2 characters without too much of a problem, as long as she stays alive. She doesn't get bonus HP with her pain split like Wyatt does, but she does obviously do pain split. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing with the pain split. I have to really test it. I guess it's useful. She's going to take barely any damage from the taunted characters though, because they've got less damage with the minus 40%, and she's got Indomitable, and she pain splits that damage away. She's going to be taking barely any damage at all, which is really, really nice. Now, we're going to discuss her weapon a bit more. I think most people already have looked at the character in terms of what its usefulness is. I think the active skill is okay, but I really wouldn't level the active skill. I want her to be rushing as much as possible. Now, in terms of her weapon, this is where I've seen a little bit of debate, not as much as it around Wyatt. There's a lot of options for Wyatt, but with this character being a fast character, there aren't really that many overpowered options, and I think majority of people will try and go for absolute defense, which kind of does make sense. She is going to be a character that is basically a tank. That is her role. Now, the other stats that you want on this weapon is really up to you to decide, and realistically, you want to keep it as one of the defensive stats, which is HP or defense. Those are the two defensive stats. You know, those are going to be the two things that keep you alive longer. You don't really need attack, so you want to avoid attack stats as much as possible. But like I said before, if you have a very large, I think even a very large, but a huge AP on attack, you're going to be getting your rush. You're going to be locking two characters in with your rush on defense, as long as you've got an AP. I think even without an AP lead. Maybe even without an AP lead. I have to calculate out. You get 30 a turn with just weapon, but you get 40% bonus on defense, and she's only 66 AP. So you should really get, it'll be attack, attack, rush, attack, attack, rush, and that'll be, the rush will be her taunting, re-taunting the characters that have lost their taunt. So I mean, I think it'll work. So she doesn't need, I mean, it's really interesting actually. It's really interesting. But anyway, moving on. It's all about that third stat, and I think there's a lot of debate about whether she should have defense or HP. I think majority of people are going with defense because it is the easiest stat to have, because there are ice picks already, and most people do have a defensive ice pick just in the bag. They may not have one with AP on attack though, because a lot of people will have like an absolute defense ice pick, 30% defense, 30% HP, and then 5% extra on one of those two stats, because they would have had it for Michonne. Like this is, I'm talking veterans there, in terms of being able to pass it over. She could use that for the time being, but I think, especially if you're going to use her on attack, she does need AP on attack. Now, I was thinking about keeping the defense. If you were on my stream last night, I'll just claim. If you were on my stream last night, oh, here's the second. Here's the seconds. We'll get to have a bit of a sneak peek. Okay, there are 5-star tokens on here. I'm going to get 5 pulls on this, so hopefully I get some 5-star tokens and maybe some. I kind of need a silver ascendance tokens more than anything else. Yeah, I think 5-star tokens, silver ascendance tokens, that'll be pretty good for me. Anyway, if we look at this here, if you're on my stream last night, you'll know that I got pretty lucky. I've been trying for an absolute defense on an ice pick for quite a while, and I managed to get absolute defense last night, which is like, the timing is perfect. So on this weapon, I'm going to replace the 20% attack with AP on attack. So what I'll do is I'll take a screenshot and I'll Photoshop that on, just so you see like what it looks like. And so as you can see, now I've Photoshopped it, it does look like it's got a huge bonus to AP on attack. It doesn't yet. The fingers crossed. Even if it's very large, the difference is very small there. Either works fine. But it's all about that 30% stat. Do I want to try and get 35% defense, or do I want to go for 30% HP? Now, there are arguments for and against both, and I think the HP slightly outweighs the defense, because if we look at Maggie, this is the easiest way to get to her. If we look at Maggie, she has got Indomitable, so instantly she's going to have more defense every time she gets a hit. So if you have 30% defense on her weapon, all that's basically doing is making out that she's already been hit and she gets 1 proc of Indomitable. Now, it does scale quite nicely based on the fact that it actually multiplies by the total current multiplier. So it isn't like all the multipliers come together. You get a slight increase based on, like, so if you've got 90 and you get 30% of 90, you know, or whatever, 30% of 90 was roughly 30. But then it wouldn't, if you get another 30%, it wouldn't be 30% of 90 again, it would be 30% of 120 or 120, you know, whatever it would be, 122 or something like that, which is really, really nice. But the thing is, with her HP, her HP isn't super high. Her HP isn't super high. I mean, it's actually pretty high for base HP, but unless you've got a lead that gives HP, and even then it's going to be an issue. Now, I raised this with my brother just to get some, just to think about. And he made a really good point where he said if you run a Wyatt on defense as well, and Maggie's got the highest HP, Wyatt's pain split will go with Maggie. And the thing that's good about that is Wyatt gives bonus HP. And if you want anyone to get bonus HP, it's basically you want it to go to a tank. Especially someone like Maggie, who's basically just an outlast. And you're trying to keep her alive for as long as possible, but at the same time, she's really, really, really annoying. So I'm thinking potentially about going for HP on that last stat, but what I will do is I'll probably go for AP on attack first. I'll see how useful it is, because if you look at my Wyatt, I've done basically the same thing. And I'm probably going to change this to HP, because I have noticed his HP is just a bit too low. If you look at his weapon, I've stuck with 15% defense, and he doesn't take hits that badly, but he hasn't got much HP at all. Even at maxed out, he would only have like another 250 HP. So it is noticeable. Unless you have a HP lead, it is noticeable. But like I said, with the rush here, if it goes off and you've got him in the same team as Maggie, the pain split always goes to the other person who has the highest HP in the team. So if if Maggie's got the highest HP in the team, Wyatt's pain split will go on her, and she'll get 30% bonus HP, which is really, really nice. And I think will be quite useful. I don't have HP on my Shiva, so my Shiva is a problem, and that's why I can't really use her on defense very easily. Like, if I got a second Shiva, I'd make a defensive Shiva. My Shiva is very attacking. High attack, gaining bonus AP and stun, and I think she's quite a big target on defense, so I'd want someone who is a bit tankier on defense. So I'm going to have to think about it. I have got at least some selection. Give me your thoughts on the way you're thinking in terms of weapon. Are you going with defense? Are you going to just create this like very odd weapon? I did say potentially that absolute defense may be the way not to go. Like maybe trying to make a really defensive weapon. So sort of like this, but a huge bonus instead. And just trying to keep her alive for a very long time. I mean, this would be really hard to deal with on a 6-star. Because stats are very important on 6 stars. Basically, that's the main thing they bring. But Maggie has a fairly decently fast rush. So, I mean, I could try it out with this as well and see how useful it is. I'll have to just give it a few tests. I mean, I think with 30% defense and 35% HP, she's going to be pretty beastly. But time will tell. Time will tell. So, again, thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Do give me your thoughts. How are you thinking about this, and which way are you going to slide? Are you going for the 5-star, the 6-star? You're going to keep it as a 5-star. You're going to ascend to a 6-star. What sort of weapon are you looking at? I would like to get your input. Just to, maybe you'll change my mind. I'm swaying a little bit towards HP, but what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to get this weapon. I'm going to put a very large or a huge bonus on it. Hopefully, I get lucky with a huge. And that'll be a huge bonus on attack, and then I'll test it out. I'll see how well it works. I'll see how much damage she takes. I'll see how my Wyatt buff works a little bit. I'll use my defense team on attack a little bit just to see how it would work on defense, and I'll see if I'm happy with it. Because currently my bonus defense goes to Ezekiel, and I mean, as much as that's nice, I think Ezekiel is either taken out very early or he's ignored. So it's hard to know. It's hard to know what's the good thing. But that is the end of this video, guys. And as always, keep on surviving. Keep on surviving.